Aquaba, and welcome everybody to my match reaction to the game against Ecuador for Les Elephants. So for starters, Amers Faye has some explaining to do. I won't lie, the lineup that he chose was not particularly great. I mean, the fact that he went with Bazu and Jan Diamant on the wings rather than having Ahmed from the get-go was very confusing to me. Some of the lineups that were being thrown out were even worse. I mean, you had Ahmed in the 10 and then Umar Dikite on the right. And it was just a bit all over the place. But in the end, it didn't cost us having Bazu on the left, Jan on the right. We got to see Jan Diamant up against Pierre Hincapié of Ecuador and Arsenal, who's supposed to be regarded as one of the best defenders in the world, but he made him look like an average dude, you know? And I think that ability that Jan shows where he draws in the defenders, you know, a lot of times you need space as an attacker to be able to, you know, start doing your skill moves before the defender engages. But for Jan, he almost dangled the carrot to Nkapia, say, bite at me, you know, come at me, try to put a tackle in, and he would just zip past him down the line. And it is a bit unfortunate. I think his deliveries, you know, once he gets past the defense and gets to the byline and tries to cut it back, have to be a bit better. You know, he's hitting it almost at like knee height, which it's easy to clear for a defender and it's hard to score for an attacker at that height. So I think if he either just tries to chip it to the back post to maybe, well, if he's going to be on the left wing going forward, you know, trying to get it to Ahmed on the back post, or if he just tries to drill on the floor, which is my preference for attackers. Um, yeah, if he tries to drill it, then I think we're gonna be a lot more successful because it's these bouncing balls, you know, across the box that they can be difficult at times, you know, with defenders. But for the most part, you want a high probability chance for your attacking teammates to be able to finish rather than just to be uncomfortable for the defenders. Another thing is the energy that Ahmad brought onto the field. I mean, once again, he subbed in 35 minutes ago and he just made an instant impact. I mean, we're just such a better team without him. Like, I was really excited after the performance that Nicolas Pepe had against France to see him start. You know, that was the one caveat of, you know, dropping Ahmed, is that we could see Nicolas Pepe. You know, that's like the devil on your shoulder saying, "Oh, we should drop Ahmed, get Nicolas on the team because he's been so great." But if there's a way that Emers Faye can fit both into the team, then I think he has to do that. But if not, I think you just have to stick with Ahmed starting. Nicolas Pepe, as well as he does, I don't think he does as good to this team without Ahmed on the field. So if you're gonna pick one over the other, it has to be Ahmed, in my opinion, because Ahmed can do good without Nicolas Pepe, and I don't think the same could be said in Nicolas Pepe's case. I think he needs to have both options on the wings, and it's not throwing shade at Bazu, but he's just not the right profile for Nicolas Pepe, where Ahmed can drop in and just do link-up plays. Bazu's more of the just run straight forward, head down, and just try to attack at people. And with that goal, you have to look at Wilfried Singo, of course. The substitute in the 89th minute or 88th minute by Emers Faye to bring on Kosunu in for Gueladue, switch Singo off to the right back position, which he is, if we're being totally honest, his better position than right center back. But either way, he's perfectly fine in this team and should be starting regardless. But that switch ultimately gave the license for Singo to push up and do what he does best in driving with the ball. In my last video, I talked about how well Singo is at driving with the ball. Even in the center back role, he likes to pick up the ball and try to find the split balls like Harry Maguire does with England. And the same was true with this game. I mean, he just makes those incisive passes to Seko and Cassier, as well as whoever's playing in the 10, even Bonnie, because Bonnie's amazing at holding up the ball. You know, you chuck it up to his chest and it just go boom, kind of like what Drogba did all the time during his career, where no matter who was on his back, he would always come down with the ball at his feet. I'm really liking the way the Bonnie's playing. But yeah, so Singo, he did a nasty little turn from the ball to his feet and just immediately darted forward. And people underestimate how quick he is because he is like so tall. His strides are just bigger than everyone else. And he just darted it down, played a perfect pass to Ahmed, but because he let it run to the end of his foot, it just kind of curved away in a sense, which you can't really teach that. It does have to do a little bit with the strength of the pass that was being played to him. But overall, it was a great finish, great goal, great assist. You could say, tactical masterclass by Emirates Faye, but at the same time, I think, you have to look forward and hope that Emin Ndika can be playing, at least for the game against Curacao. I don't believe that he'll be fit for the game against Germany, but the game against Curacao, hopefully he can be back, as reports are saying, and then you can push Singo out to the right back position, which, no offense to Gueye Dua has been amazing over the past few international windows with the team. He's been one of our star performers. I mean, he pretty much single-handedly won the game against France, along with Nicolas Pepe, but is being outshined by Wilfried Singo. Another player I'm going to talk about, shine the spotlight on, is Jan Diamond, the player of the match. I mean, his take-ons, I think he had 5 take-ons. Ahmed had 6, which is just also insane because he only played about 30 minutes. But with Jan's take-ons, they were a lot more effective. Ahmed's were kind of side to side for the most part, so he did, almost stat pad in a sense. But with Jan, I mean, he's supposed to be a 9-figure player. RB Leipzig, they just rejected $100 million total bid for him, his services from Liverpool. So they're asking for almost like 115, 120 mil, which is insane to me that an Ivorian player, especially so young, is being priced at that price point. But yeah, I mean, that performance against Nkapie was just proof that he really could be worth it. I mean, he made it, like, no matter what side he was on, whether it was against Nkapie, even Ordonez, I mean, he just made it look so effortless. I mean, he is lightning quick on the ball. Like, you have some players where they're more technical, but once they beat past their man, they have to go again and beat past their man again. You'll see them cut back inside, and it just, it can drive you insane. But with Jan, all it is you just have to get a step past them and he's gone. He did almost score a goal, which would have been insane. I mean, in FIFA, if you've ever played FIFA, there's a thing called sticky trait where it's almost like the game is rigging it for your player to stay on the ball. I mean, there'll be tackles and deflections, but no matter what happens, the ball will always be at his foot, and that's kind of what it is with Jan, especially against Ecuador. I mean, the one shot that he had where he cut on to his right and he rifled it, but just hit it over the bar, which, to be honest, I think he should have scored there. And if he did score, it would have been one of the goals of the match week. But it was very unfortunate that he didn't. But yeah, he's been playing amazing. Everyone, is starting to take notice about how great he is. And finally, I want to just shine a spotlight onto the next game. It's a very, very important game against Germany if we want to top the group and not have to face anyone from France's group, which is all very scary. I do not want to be playing Senegal in the round of 32. And an even more frightening matchup could be against Norway. That Norwegian team is looking on fire. They just won 4-1 against Iraq. They don't have a very good defense, so I think the defensive side would be fine, but at the same time, I think a low-scoring game would suit us better. Playing in a very open match would tire us out. This Germany game is going to be insane. This German team, it just pummeled Curacao. Although, if we're being totally honest, I think any of the top European nations, barring maybe Spain, because they look honestly very substandard at the moment, should be scoring at least 4 goals on them. So score 7 on them is not really a surprise. Their heads kind of dropped after it was 3-1 right before halftime. They knew it was pretty much over from there once it was a 2-goal cushion. Verts is playing well, Musiala is playing well, Pavlovic midfield doing all right. I still have my doubts about Joshua Kimmich in the right back position. I think whether we go with Bazu on the left and Jan on the right to start like we did this past game, or we go Jan on the left, Ahmad on the right, I think regardless, both of our wingers should be able to bypass their fullbacks and do their magic, possibly to an even better extent than they did against Ecuador. Their center backs, Jonathan Tah and Nico Schlotterbeck, they have good aerial presence. Schlotterbeck especially, he's very lengthy. He's good in the air. Jonathan Tah is more of an enforcer, and he likes to more be physical in the box. It's like kind of a 1-2 punch with them. But even so, I think with Wahi now being announced that he's not going to be able to play in this game due to, I guess, visa issues, they're not allowing him into the country, into Canada, because the game's being played in Toronto. I guess we're going to have to start Bonnie, which after his cameo against Ecuador, where you saw how well he was able to hold up the play and then just release some of the wingers or the midfield on a overlap or underlapping runs, he's looking very promising. He's turning into a player that I think could have a real good impact, maybe even starting our future games, depending on how well he plays in this game. I think his passing range is also very well-rounded. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. My prediction is 1-0 Ivory Coast. I think our defense is so solid that I genuinely don't see how Germany are going to score other than a set-piece goal, which that's how they scored their second goal against Curacao, was a Schlotterbeck header. And I mean, that is worrying. Obviously, there were some scary moments against Ecuador from corners and free kicks, especially towards the end of the game. They had a series of set pieces that, I was very, very nervous about, but in the end it didn't really come to anything. But just that option of being able to pull up on a header on the back post at any moment is very worrying. But Mecha in the midfield, Pavlovic, Musiala, they're good. You do have to have worries about if they're going to be more athletic and maybe overrun Kessie and Seko. But with the extra running that I'm sure Seko and Kessie will have to do against this midfield as opposed to the Ecuador midfield, that we're going to have to bring in Sangare and Inao Ulai quicker, maybe even in the 60th minute, which could be daunting to some fans. But I think we have incredible depth. Sangare didn't have the best cameo, but Inao Ulai is starting to become a player that even not huge Ivory Coast fans are taking. They're starting to take notice. His progressive dribbling and incisive passing has become a key to our later game structure. He's finding our attackers and fullbacks into space, and they call him Le Petit because he is small, but at the same time he's very mighty. You could even call him Le Petit Prince, if you will, the Little Prince. Although he is small in stature, he's mighty in his ability to win 50-50 duels, and he's got a very low center of gravity, so he stays on his feet even when people are pushing and shoving. He wins free kicks all the time with just his aggressive nature, and really haggling and biting at the ankles of the other team, if you will, causing them to get annoyed and essentially just kicking him. So I think our subs are gonna have to play a major role in us getting a result against Germany. Worst case scenario, I think a 0-0 tie. But I'm gonna stick with my 1-0 prediction. I'm excited to see what happens on Saturday. I have been busy, so that's why I haven't been posting. I should have posted this earlier, but yeah, I'll catch you all in the next video. It'll probably be a post-match review of the game against Germany. Bonne journée, goodbye, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.